Hello, everybody. Hello. So tonight we are going to work on our pattern book. We had done a few patterns before. I'm going to turn this light on to see if that changes anything for tonight while we're painting. We'll see. I always end up having such a glare. All right, my laptop is almost up and running. And there we are. Okie dokie. Hello everybody. So tonight we are going to go ahead and do a new pattern page. But before we get started and while we're waiting on friends to show up, I think I'm just going to go ahead and we had talked about sealing. Going to erase the guide marks on this one. And then we will seal. We have 3 projects we've worked on that we need to seal. So I'm going to just work on erasing these guide marks. Sorry, it will shake the camera. But hello, everybody. Hi, Jessica. Hi, Nikki. Welcome in. Just working on erasing the guide marks so we can seal this project up, and then we'll start working on a practice page with some patterns. Hello, Judy. Making my normal erasure mess. So this plastic eraser has been the only thing that I found that will consistently erase my chalk marks. I have tried the like damp cloth and baby wipes and other things, but somebody had suggested to try this plastic eraser, and while it makes a mess, it works really well. Hello, how are you? Good to see you. I got your invite today that you were live, but I was fighting with my laptop and a discussion post. So I wanted to finish that. And then, well, you saw I went and shot my bow, and that was... Thankfully, I'm pretty well versed in how to fix what was happening. That it didn't need to happen at all, but... Oh, no worries. You gotta sleep. Oh, no. I'm sorry. Did they figure out what's wrong with the... Oh, wait. Didn't you say one of them was unwell? Maybe I'm wrong. I know you said they were looking at you to feed them because you hadn't fed them. So I was just going to erase the guide marks on this one and get this one ready to paint or to seal too. So since I'm pulling out the sealer and the brush, might as well just do them all. The chalk pencil is, well, I can't really say the name. Can you see that? Starts with a G. Fortunately, I can't say the name. But on another note, I haven't lost any chickens since I've had to keep them locked up in the run, so that's a good thing. So whatever it was, or is not risking getting in the fence. So that I'm glad, but like I said, they just don't have the options of running around, which they enjoy. Sorry, I know when I erase this, some comments in the live were filtered already. My gosh, we haven't really even gotten started. Simmer down out there, Judy. Oh my goodness. All right, let me look at this real quick. Get the rest of these off. And then, like I said, we will work on that pattern page. If you are working on, going to work on that with us, then just, you'll just want to have your page like sectioned out. But other than that, there's really no prep work. And just pick a palette of paint, whatever you want to work with. I might do some different colors just so that people can see how one pattern looks one way with one color and how it'll look different with another color. But that's because I have so much paint already in like the palette cups, in the cups. Yes, it is. It's weird how I'm just even afraid to say something like that. All right, so I'm going to seal these 3 that we had done here in our lives, on our lives here during our lives. In real life. I will. Tonight's class? Absolutely, yeah. I don't know that Cece's going to make it either, so I had already told her I would. I got yours up for this one. And then I was going to start doing the rainbow one, and then I forgot. Because I was checking on the... Do you set your content disclosure before? What do you mean? It's not a shoppable. I know that. Is that what you mean? I have it as a regular. Whatever I can do to make it so that I don't have to stress about any of that, it would be fantastic. No. Can I do it while I'm live? What do I do? Settings. Content disclosure. Tell viewers that this live promotes a brand, product, or service. Oh, I'm not doing any brand. Oh, but I see what you're saying. So do you use that so that helps with any of that then? Oh, so when I... All right, let me see. So if I hit settings, content disclosure, own brand. Oh, no. Why? I did now. Why does that? Oh. Hi, Angie. All right, let's get sealing these up while we get, I'm using this satin varnish. It is indoor outdoor. So it is satin. Hang on a minute. I think I see some flakes. Hang on a minute. Once you seal this, you can't get anything off. So better make sure you get it off while you can. And this is what I mean by if you don't wait for your base coat on your round to fully cure or fully dry, and you do your chalk marks on it, they may be permanent. I think I did that on this one. You know how I get into doing stuff around the house and then I'm like, oh God, I gotta go do that. So a little bit of this goes a long way. It does leave a satin finish, so it'll have a little bit of a gloss. You can use a foam brush for this, so you don't get the brush strokes. I just use, everybody knows this about me. If I'm going to do a project and it's going to like go to a special home, I'm going to use spray paint. I'm not going to use this on there because no matter what I do, I don't like the finish on it. So I prefer, it's a UV protectant, whatever, spray paint. It says it right on the can. And I just like that because I can spray it on and it's a real good even coat. I don't have to worry about brush strokes or anything like that. It's somebody else was talking about that. She does, I think I just saw it the other day. We didn't talk about it, but she has a very successful, like when you do like the TikTok shop, when you do that, like it's really like everybody's selling stuff. It's really hard to be like successful, and she's very successful. And I forget, there was something that she said or something in the video, and I guess she got, in trouble or whatever. And like she was really upset about it because it's been happening a lot to her. And, after a while, if it happens too much, they shut you down. So she's a little stressed about it, which I don't blame her. I'm just going to set this one over here. But yeah. Yes, that's what this one is. Yeah. But the in the spray can, it's gosh, I don't even know. I haven't bought a can in a while. Gosh, I don't even know. I don't think it's polyurethane though. I think it's an acrylic. This one's going to be really pretty. Now, you don't have to use the satin finish, okay? Some people prefer a matte finish. They like to have the colors with the natural color, and so you could use a matte. I prefer the little bit of sheen. I think it gives it a little bit of dimension. A little bit too much. Make sure I spread it out. Hi, Lisa, how are you? Oh, you have polyurethane in a spray can. Yeah, I don't think it was, I think it's an acrylic spray paint. I don't know, I'll have to look it up. Let me get this out to the edges here. But the key is that if you are going to use a brush, you kind of got to go back and forth. It's one of those things where you can get brush strokes if you're not quick and even. And so, like I said, optimally, most people will use a foam brush just so you don't get those brush strokes. So I just try and go quick, use enough, move it around. I gotta put it down. And the key is if you're going to use the brush, you want to do it even. That's why you see me going back and forth so many times. And the edges are often, sometimes I miss the edges, so that's why I go over them so many times. So I try to do like full brush strokes, if that makes sense, instead of little ones like that. Instead of that. There we go. All right, let me put that one on the table. Hang on a minute. All right, let's see. Thank you for the heart me. Do you put a base coat on the back side? I have. Like the ones that I gave away to my preceptor, I will paint the back of those, yes. Only because, ooh, this is going to be so pretty with the satin on there. Oof. That just made those colors pop. Thank you for the heart me. Because like when I paint, I try to get like right now, the edges are not painted. So when I paint the edges, it goes around to the back. And as a gift, I feel like it just looks more finished if you do that. Now, if I end up giving these away or something, I'll come back in with the black, the multi-surface black, and do the edges and then paint the back before I put the magnet on. Actually, you could do it with the magnet on there. It's just, you got to paint around it. That can be a pain, but yeah, this satin finish on this is really, thank you for the Go Pops. Make this pattern really pop. Wow. So again, that might have been one where, somebody didn't really want it like with a satin finish. Then you just leave it the matte and use a matte finish. Because this particular brand comes in a matte and a high gloss. Some people use a triple gloss. I don't know about, I don't know how. I've never used a triple gloss or triple thick or whatever it is. The most I've ever done is like I've coated a 10-inch round with resin, which comes out really pretty. But that's a whole nother live. All right. Oh, they have an ultra matte too? Oh, I did not know that. I mean, I guess that would make. All right, let me put this brush in water so it doesn't get. All right. So who is ready to paint? Paint. All right, I am going to retire the rainbow for tonight so we can paint on some other colors. Let's see, we've got quite a few colors. We've got a collection. Okay, let's see. Who is new here? Hi, Lori. Hi, Simply Me. I forgot my water too. Jeez. I'll be all right. Okay, if you're new here, say hi in the chat. We're going to work on a couple of basic patterns. Let me kind of go up a little bit. Sorry. And we'll start in this top corner. Hopefully, hi Pea Cakes. I have it upside down. Hang on a minute. There we go. Okay, so there was one that somebody wanted to do on this page. Does anybody remember which one it was? I don't remember. So, remember last night we did something with the swoosh and then we kind of went around it a little bit. That is it with walking dots and then of course brush strokes. I'm trying to find one. Let's do this pattern. Okay, because I think we can do this with our basic tools. Even though that is a brush stroke, I think we can do that as swooshes. So let's try that. Hi, thank you for the wink wink and the TikTok. I appreciate that, Judy. And thank you for liking the live. You guys are already tapping away. Good job. And then let's start with that one. So, like I said, I like to show you the pattern, different sizes, different colors. But if you are new here, we spend a lot of time, working with this set of tools, okay? And, oh, thank you for the TikToks and the You're Awesomes. Thank you. Hey, how have you been? You haven't been here in a hot minute. Thank you for being here. You need a book like this. Well, I mean, they come in books like this. There is, oh, I feel that, yeah. There is one in my supply list. But I mean, I like I said, I will say I'm type A, and it's really nice to have it bound. So I use the backs. I start in the back with my color palettes, and then in the front with the design pages. So, but if you're new here, these are the tools we use a lot in Dot Art. They are really simply called Dot Art tools, I think. They are used often in nail art. Now, when you get the tools, one side, in this kind, apparently there's several different kind out there. This side is all the same size. So when I talk about like what I'm using in the live, it will help some people know which one I'm using. And then on this side, they go up in, from very small to large. So we use these the most, but we occasionally do use these acrylic rods as well. Oh, see, that's a great idea. And then you can just pull a page out and you don't have to fiddle with it. Like if you want to flip a page or something, that's a great idea. Because then like for me, sometimes I want to flip the page and this is wet. And I'm like, oh, I can't really move it. I'm doing okay. Getting through school. So I'm tired too. So I feel that. All right. So I think I'm going to start with, we'll start up at the top row, and I'm just going to, we have these palettes mixed from whenever. I'm actually just going to mix them up a little bit before I start. So, well, this semester ends like early August or something like that. And then I anticipate graduating in November. So that's my timeline. And I want to stick to it. Yeah, right, Angie? That was a great idea. I agree. Because, like I said, one, the having it bound, it costs extra that way. But if you have it in the 3-ring, you can be like, oh, I want to see that page while I'm doing it. Pull out the one, and then, you know what I mean? I think that's a great idea. Fantastic idea. See, you guys are all, yes, I know, I'm getting close. See, I learn from you guys all the time. We all learn from everybody. I think it's fantastic. So yeah, we'll mix these up. And like I said, I like to do different sizes so you can see it on a different size perspective. We can use different colors. But the main goal is that you get the design pattern. And yes, this will go up because, like I said, I'm pretty sure Cece said she was going to try and be here, but she's not 100% sure. So I want to get everybody. And I have been trying to do all of the pages. The only problem is sometimes I get sidetracked because it takes a while for it to download. And then it takes a while to upload. And like I said, I'm not doing any editing, so it's just all of us talking and, well, me talking and saying whatever you're saying. Oh, Cece is here. Okay, good. I wasn't sure. You said you might and you might not, so good. All right, so let's get rid of that over there. Oh, all right. So I'm going to, and I do try to I try to go up to the edge, but I also try not to go all the way to the edge. But remember, you're painting on a circle, so when you're painting on a line, it may not look exactly the same way when you're doing it on your round. All right, so I'm actually just going to use the purple rod here. And I'm going to do that. And then how about, because we like these two colors together. How about we'll do that one and we'll mix it with a little bit with the tiger lily because we do like these two colors together. And then I'm going to do a slightly bigger 2 dots over here. Try and get it all, well, I'm just going to do the dots over here and then we'll focus on these two and then focus on these two. So just slightly bigger rod, the blue rod, same thing, getting close to the edge, a little bigger dot. Okay. There we go. Thank you for the follow, Anne-Marie. If anybody is new here and you have any questions about what we're doing or about the tools or anything, please ask. Everybody's very helpful. So this first one, I'm just going to do in all of this palette. We're actually working on a pattern book. So the first is a row of dots. Then it's our typical dot with a swoosh and then 3 dots. Okay, I have to keep refreshing my memory. Hi from New Zealand, how are you? It's afternoon there for you, isn't it? So I'm actually just going to use the large end of the yellow to do the row of dots. They're walking dots. Okay. Basically, a drop of paint, and then you walk the paint off the tool. Welcome from New Zealand. All right. Lunchtime. That's so interesting. It's just interesting, you know, how we do often get people like at the same time from Australia and stuff popping in. So it's still kind of cool to me that like just a totally different time zone. All right, and then we're gonna go up in size. So I'm just gonna use let's use the large end of the white, okay? So in this case, we're gonna do, it's gonna be a dot, and I'm gonna come up just a little bit, not right on top of it. Okay, I'm getting another drop of paint, and we're gonna make a swoosh. So the swoosh is something you gotta push around. Okay. Same thing, we're going to drop a paint and we're going to push it around. Now on the paper, I feel like, yeah, it moves better, but it also drags and sucks into the paper. So don't, you know, I always tell everybody that's new here, if you're practicing, don't beat yourself up if it doesn't work out perfect. You're practicing. You know, there's quite a few people that have been in here that do watercolor, and I think it's fantastic. I have tried it, and I am unsuccessful with it. Just throwing it out there. Yes. Did you see the video? Yeah, it's coming off the I guess there's some Canadian wildfires, and it happens every year. I don't know what the phenomenon is and why we get so much smoke from it, but it's terrible. Yeah, it's terrible. All right, and this design calls for 3 dots here. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then now what we're going to do is I'm just sticking with the same tool. We're going to make this like a flower pattern. Okay? So it's going to look like this. Now remember, when you're doing it, if your paint is still wet, you risk it bleeding together. So just give yourself distance. Remember, this is a pattern book so that you can quickly access this when you're doing a board. You are? Hi, Daves.art. Thank you for the follow. You're getting it too? Wow. That's crazy to me. But I mean, keep in mind, I am an entire state south of Canada. I am the entire state of New York. So, you know how New York is kind of long. I am all the way at the state line between Pennsylvania and New York. So I'm like 40 minutes from the New York. That's crazy. Yeah, it doesn't smell smoky out, but it is smoky. So same thing, you're going to put your dot of paint a little bit lower and a little bit separated because we want it to kind of look like a flower is opening. Okay, if that makes sense. We want it to kind of like be opening, like a peony. You know, peonies are almost all their petals are like the same, but they're kind of opening. Crazy. All right, and then we're just simply following this pattern here, and it's so for a total of 4. Okay. So again, about the same, maybe a little bit lower. But the same concept, we're coming in as close as we can. You don't really want to touch, but if you do, it's okay. And yes, I'm going to say I agree, some of these blues almost look exactly the same, but there are a little variations to them. Okay. And then we'll finish it off with the primary color. Oh, wow. I remember, gosh, I think it was 2 years ago. It was really bad. And, like, you couldn't see down the street. And that's here. That was really bad. That was crazy. Something about, like, the way the wind was blowing and all of that. Oh, need a little bit more. The goal is that each petal is about the same size. There you go. I'm in Colorado. You're in Colorado with bad quality. 40. So 40 is bad, and 130. Wow. Crazy. All right, so let's do a little bit of kind of switching things up so that you can see how you have one design, okay? And we're going to do the same design but with different colors. So you're Southwest, but you're kind of level with me. You're not seeing anything down your way? It's weird. But yeah, if you're new here and have any questions, please go ahead and ask them in the chat. As an introduction, I guess I could do that. My name is Victoria. I am a registered nurse. I'm also a nurse practitioner student. And I have been painting dot art, mandala style dot art for quite a few years. But being in school prohibits me from having a long time off to do a full project. So I started this live so that I could paint and feel accomplished. Oh, it was windy here today, so I don't know if that's why it cleared it up a little bit for us, but it was kind of crazy. Let me stir these up too. Wow. So 50 is bad, or is the 130 bad? Like, I'm not 100% sure which way that goes. I mean, 140 sounds better than... So, the problem with that, as somebody who's in healthcare, I know what happens. People that have, lung issues end up in the hospital, or they end up with lung issues from the smoke. All right, stir this one up. 130 is okay. Wow, and you guys have been having the wildfires. See, that's crazy to me. All of that. Does anybody know if they got that one out in Utah situated? I'm going to use this middle orange here. And I'm going to use the small end of the yellow to do our row of dots. Okay, so dot, 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 dot. I don't suppose I need to say dot every time. All right. So then we switch to the white. All right, so let's kind of alternate these colors a little bit. 3 and 400? Wow. Oh boy. So you come up just a little bit with that dot, and then we're going to make our first swoosh by pushing that paint around, going slow. You don't have to go fast. If you go fast, you don't deposit as much paint, so sometimes you may have to go faster, like towards the bottom if you got enough paint. You know, like you're here and you can go a little faster. And then if it doesn't work out perfectly, flip your tool over and just fix what you need to fix. Now, I'm going to add this, that if you try to go over that with another drop of paint, you're going to get this ridge inside your swoosh. So your goal is to, thank you for the follow, MJ. See, I don't feel like, thank you for the heart me too, MJ. Thank you. Yeah. Don't open your windows. I know that's kind of a given, but oh my goodness. But the thing with swooshes is you don't want to do it and say, oh no, I need more paint on it. Because if you do that, you're going to get this thing down the middle of it. You're better off taking the other end of your tool and fiddling with the paint a little bit to get it looking the way you want it. All right, so same side, large end of the white. I'm going to make those 3 dots. Okay, and then our first swoosh. Oh, I should have gone a little lower, but it'll be fine. It's all gonna be fine. Now these will come off the same way with the Q-tip, not on the paper obviously, but on your wood, they'll come up. So that's good. Just take a little bit more Q-tip. What happened here? Oh, so I feel like this one, there we go. No, this is actually 110-pound paper that we do some practicing on. We will do a pattern page. So we get to, and I do them in different colors, like in different sizes, just so that everybody kind of gets an idea of, you know, how it'll look, different sizes and stuff like that. But no, it's 110-pound black paper. We use it also for like, well, I do for custom palettes so that I can keep track of the, you know, what I do in class or on lives and stuff in some case somebody asks me. So swooshing around. Again, this one came out a little bit more. not quite lining up, a little bit below. The goal is we want it to look like an opening flower. Ah, there we go. It's a wood round. It's a wood round, relatively inexpensive. Did I send you the, did you ask me for the supply list and I did not send it to you? I feel like a few people asked me and then I did not send that. Oh my God, they were so good. It was so yummy. So yummy. All right, so I'm going to switch it up a little bit, and I'm actually going to use, we have some metallic, I think that's worn penny in there, and I'm going to do the last swoosh with that. Yes. That back, I don't know, like that back strap came out so good. That was really good. Same thing, coming down a little bit below it. I mean, I had some cheese with my back strap too. Don't forget the cheese. I thought that was funny. And I need this much cheese too. I need more. I could have eaten just the steak. I'm not kidding. It came out so good. Every once in a while, it's funny because venison is that way. I mean, it's good, but sometimes the backstrap can be tough. Okay, so yes, you were here. Weren't you were here last night? Yep. Tapped out again. What do you mean tapped out again? Oh, I do that all the time. Um, it's funny, right? You wouldn't think coloring would be an expensive hobby. But if you have like I said, the only thing with paint on regular paper is it causes the paper, even here, when you're making a bigger design, it kind of will warp the paper. And this is a 110-pound paper. This is heavy. Okay. Well, welcome in the other MJ. But you can see how just adjusting how I accidentally went up a little higher, and we use different, they look like totally different patterns. Thank you for the follow, Ruth. In my opinion, slightly different sizes, different colors, looks totally different. So now we have these two bigger ones over here. And we're going to do the same thing, but just slightly bigger. Okay, I'm going to use the large end of the yellow. Wait, hang on a minute. Let me think about that. No, I'm going to use yeah, it's the same thing. I'm going to use the small end of the yellow still. And in this one, we'll go lighter to darker. We're going to do the same pattern, okay? But bigger. Okay. That center dot is a little wonky. Oh. I need to get centered on my seat better. I was sitting on the edge. Okay. So now I'm going to go to the next color and do the same thing. I am going to use the large end of the white for this one. And then I'm going to go up a size. Okay, so little up from that one. Okay, and then now we're going to come down and spread that paint around for that swoosh. How's everybody doing that's painting? They're completely different looking. And that's the beauty of dot art, mandala style dot art, whatever you want to call it. That is the beauty. If you try, like if you have a customer that says, I want one that looks just like that, I would kindly say to them, I will do the best I can, but every piece I ever do evolves as it goes. Like I don't think I have two pieces that look alike. I mean, maybe the rocks, because I have a pattern that I do every single time with the stones. Like, every time we do the stones, I, start one way, get larger, and then get smaller. Like, I do the same thing. But when it comes to patterns, things just evolve. So let's break that up. Let's put some bronze penny in here. All right, I am going to go up in size to the large end of the blue. Yes. All right, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. You shared me out to Facebook. Thank you. Swooshes are challenging. Brush strokes are so much fun, but you still need to do swooshes sometimes. You have to, as much as they are hard, you gotta. So I'm using the large end of the blue, and I'm gonna put some of that bronzed penny in this section. So I'm coming up a little bit. Doing those 3 dots or little triangle. It is. Yeah, and even for me, like this is practice for me. All right, so in this case, I might need to get some more in there because I'm hitting the bottom. Remember what I told you about when you're hitting the bottom, it kind of messes up how much paint you pick up. But slowly coming around. All right. So then see how that kind of came out wonky? Just use the other end to fix that rather than go over that with another thing of paint or go over the whole thing. Because if you do that, I promise you, if you do that, it's going to look even weirder. I think it's fun. Like I said, I feel like each of them has their own place. So, but I could not do a swoosh. So when I was learning, I'm like, oh no, let's do brush strokes. Even though my brush strokes look terrible, let's do brush strokes. There must be something on the paper. Hang on. I feel it like grabbing something there. So it's giving me a little bit of grief. Hang on. I don't know what happened here. Let's fix this. Okay, that looks good. Let's fix this. It's a little better. That's a little better. Okay. All right, and then let's go back and we'll finish out that pattern. I'm gonna just stick with the large end of the blue. I think that's gonna suffice. We'll see. So when I do these swooshes, remember, I use I really swirl my tool around in there, and it is loaded with paint. So that when I'm pushing, I have more than enough paint to get around. Okay, something is happening on this side. I wonder if that's my astigmatism. I feel like either I'm not... trying to figure out what's happening over here. Is there something on the back? Oh, that's what it is. So I painted on the back side of this. I couldn't figure out what was, thank you for the follow, what was happening and why each one keeps kind of going. There's a pattern on the back that we did. That makes sense. And I remember saying, oh, I shouldn't paint on the back of it because that happened the last time. All right, so I'm going to come down a little bit so it'll be a little bit shorter. Let's see if we can't close this in a little bit so it doesn't look wonky. And then a little bit shorter. Same thing, kind of close it in so that, and I know that this is going to do that because I'm on the edge too. But normally I would run that paint. So this swoosh would normally probably get closer. It just depends on what pattern I just painted. I'm not even going to say anything more. Because depending on what I painted is what I'm going to do with the bottom part of that. Oh, a pattern page. So we painted on the back one day and was playing around. So because of that, it's given me a little bump in the paper. And I'm like, what is, no matter what I did, I just couldn't get it to go straight and it just kept going down. So I must have been hitting part of the, so again, I don't know that if I was going to do a pattern page that I would do both sides of the paper. I think I would skip that page just because, yeah, so there's other pages too. So when you're doing it's kind of hard for me. When you're doing the walking dots, like it won't interfere as much. But when you're trying to do swooshes, because you have to kind of push the paint, if there's a bump under the page, you're not going to push the paint very well. So yeah, so that's kind of why we do it, MJ. It's like practice and it's a design, different sizes, different colors, kind of look different. Yeah, we like it. All right, am I in frame? Yeah, okay. So I'm going to go small end of the yellow again, same kind of pattern here. And let me get centered here. So walking dots around. That was weird. Oh, weird. Weird. Now, I have had that before where, for whatever reason, there's a true glitch. Actually, so who was it that was it in here? That was somebody telling us that in here where they had um everything was off. Like no, it was another live. Like somebody was saying their tablet, everything was off, and they had gone to bed, and like at a certain hour, like next thing you know, a live was on. Their tablet was really weird. Weird. Well, she wanted to make sure you knew she was live. All right, so large end of the white. Same thing, gonna come up, do that dot. Okay. And now we'll do a swoosh. I'm going to try and come as close to the edge of that paper as I can. That last one I didn't, so. Okay, same thing. But yeah, Judy, like you and I both have that same situation where like one side looks different than the other. You just have to move around. I unfortunately can't really move around too much because too bad you come first. Well, I appreciate that. But I don't have that luxury of kind of like moving around and getting over my page. So, some of what I do is not symmetrical, and I know that, purely because I'm painting like 12 inches from my face. So it's difficult to, be consistent. All right. Thank you for liking the live. I see you. I see you. Appreciate that. Hello, SJN. All right. So same thing. I'm just like switching up the colors a little bit. So we're going to do that little triangle. Okay. And then we'll come in with, hopefully this will work. See, now I'm on the, I like making my own struggle bus. It's a little bit too much, but let's see. So we're going to come about here. And just push the paint around. Push the paint around. A little bit lower, same thing. Sticking close, trying not to touch. If you touch, it's not a big deal. Okay? And like I said, I'm just switching up colors, just for perspective. No real rhyme or reason. Hang on. You know, it's been days since we had a puzzle piece. I got a puzzle piece today. Crazy. Why? You know, I wish that I knew why they would do that. Why they do that. I am talking that, people are commenting. We're liking the live, like we're live. Okay, so there's an example of how I went over. It's a little better example than this one. So it's kind of like starting to cup it. The only problem is when you do this and everything's still wet, like I said, sometimes things smear, but you get the concept of what I'm trying to do. So like I would come in like that. So now it's cupping it. Hi, Cynthia. Thank you for stopping in. And then let's just follow it up with this pretty blue. And we're just going to go a little bit lower. That is a lot of paint. Way more. Oh, thank you for the wink winks, Judy. I think we met our goal. I think so. I don't know. I can't see. All right. So now the goal is, since I put so much paint on that side, we got to match it up. There we go. Again, trying to get as close without touching and like totally smearing it together like that. Hi, Tamfin. How are you? We are doing good. Although I am going to pause for a drink of water since I did my puzzle piece. Now it's safe. We'll be right back. Usually bring it with me, but I forgot. How are you? So we're doing something a little different. I don't know if you've been here for a pattern page before, but we're working on, I don't know, just, I know. It's definitely hot. Some of us are dealing with some Canadian fires, so that's fun. Well, smoke from the Canadian fires. Thank you for liking the live, everybody. I appreciate you. That gets us new friends. Okay. Let's see. Do we want to do just the dot with the walking dots, like with the petal again? Do we want to work on the diamond? Let's see what's on this page here again. Brush stroke. Those are all brush strokes in there. You want oh, bummer. The diamond, or you can do the cones. The diamond, Judy, this is, I think, the same thing Simply Me is voting for. That's one of my favorites. And we can do whatever you guys want. Let me look. I always like to look at my patterns too, so that you have them. But so many of them call for brush strokes. Oh, no. Okay, no worries. Yeah, we'll do that one. Hang on a minute. Let me see what's going on here. Let's see. Let me look at this one here. Yeah, so see, this is doing the mirrors, but doing brush strokes around that. So that's another cool one. We can do this pattern with swooshes instead of brush strokes. It's a little harder but we can do a smaller pattern. Let's try that. Okay, let's do the diamond. And we'll shoot for that pattern too. Okay, so with the diamond, or I'm just going to call it a diamond petal. We have these diamond mirrors. You don't need these. You can simply trace out a diamond, but it definitely makes life more symmetrical if you have them. So we'll do that. Okay. And like I said, if you wanted to, freehand your shape, you can do that. However, doing the diamond is so much easier with the mirror. Now, I have seen, and let's try it. I don't know that I have the triangle mirrors. Do I? I may. But let's try. Let's play around a little bit. So there are mirrors that are like maybe a little bigger than this. But they're basically half of the diamond. And then I have, what colors do we have? Do we have something else here? Oh, no, that one's for my project, so we can't use that one. What's this one? More teal. All right, let's just use the purple one. So in this case, I would have a metallic too. So let me grab the purple metallic, because I feel like that really adds to... Nope, that is not purple. Hang on. There it is. I feel like that just adds to, when you have a lot of walking dots, using a metallic really helps separate things. I think we get fat-fingered when we're trying to type. So let's relocate all this too. So we're not. There we go. Okay. So in this case, it is quite a distance, right, to get around. But you wouldn't want to start with, like, the large end of the green, okay? Because then, you're just going to have a super big design. So in this case, I think I would start with the large end of the white tool. Okay, and in this case, let's mix these a little bit too. And let's see. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask them in the chat. We are working on a beginner.art practice page for basically, so if somebody wanted to work on a project, they would have a pattern page to go fall back on and use in their mandalas. So that's what we're working on. These are custom palettes we had made before, so I'm just kind of stirring them up because they may have separated. Let's just stir this one up too. Oh, this color, remember this was so pretty, but remember it was also translucent. Remember that color? It's so pretty though. So sad. Thank you for sharing the live. Okay, so let's start off with this lighter purple. This one's almost gray. So I'm going to use this color and maybe this gray and the metallic. But I'm going to start with the large end of the white. Now this is more of a pattern that is going to get you like cover more space. So it's going to, you know, cover a couple of inches on your project. Okay. So this is a 6-inch round. So say for instance, you have, here's a good example. Okay, what size was this piece here? So this was oddly a weird 13 inches wide. Strange. But so I started it in the center, you know, just rows of dots. And then this space opens up to like 2 inches. But then you have this negative space, and then that just like every circle, every ring adds to that overall picture and then gives you, you know, your dimensions. So that is kind of what's cool about getting into bigger mandalas. Okay, so thank you, Laura. That was a fun one. Like I said, I like the colors in it. It reminded me of like a circus, like a merry-go-round kind of thing. Well, Laura, you're in the right place. This is for beginners, and we just kind of do things. So today we're working on like a design page with different patterns. And this one is one I've never done, but we're going to fiddle around with that and see what we can do with that. But we do different things here, so stick around. Thank you for the follow. I am live every Sunday through Thursday night, usually. I am a nurse. I do home infusions. I say usually because I am a broke university student, so I try to work when I can. But I try to get on those nights, Sunday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But yeah, if you wanted to try, you're in the right place because we absolutely go over beginner stuff. So I am, like I said, going to use the large end of the white. And, okay, just checking time. Now with walking dots, and you're covering a good amount of space, right? So you need a good amount of paint. Okay, and you're going to put your first dot, and you're going to stay close and walk. Now, you're not going to be as successful getting paint to drip on the paper as you would the wood, because the paper is going to absorb this. I don't know why I started with this one, but I did. I don't know if that's making sense. Like the wood isn't as porous, so you're going to be able to get, you just don't want huge dots on this first row. So just do what you can. On the wood, it will be different, I promise. Hi, Pea Cakes. You're a beginner. Well, fabulous. I think we're a mixed crowd. I feel like we're mixed. Like some of the community members have been painting for a while. Not really felt that they had acquired all the skills they needed, so they hang out and we just kind of go over the same thing. Can we do a round with black and gray? Well, what's the base coat going to be? And I don't know, can we? You want it to be light gray and you want it to be black and grays. Well, sure. I know, Tasha. So this is the thing. When you're doing it on paper, the paper absorbs it. So I just always say, just keep walking your dots until you run out of paint. Now on the wood is not as porous as the paper. Hi, Gen X DD. You're welcome. I'm glad you came back. Those are her. Geez, just Judy, we need to take the C away from you. Why do you keep hitting the C so many times? Hi there. Well, I am so glad. I'm glad you came back too. Okay, so in this case, it depends on how big you want your petal. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense for the C's then, because you have two cats, you get more C's. Too funny. So the key though, let me go back to who it was. Tasha. The key though is you want enough paint on your tool. Okay, I do a lot of swirling in there. So, and you really can't see, but I'm switching to the large end of the blue now. You need paint on your tool. Okay, so I'm going to come up a little bit, do my dot. Now, sometimes what helps is if you do a dot, and a dot, go back in your paint for your walking dots when you get bigger, when you're doing bigger. I have a habit of doing that to pull that first drop of paint off, and then I just walk. One key thing is to also hold your tool straight up and down, which I have a tendency to not do. So when you're doing more dots, you need more paint. But I have found that works So you would do a bigger dot, like in the next petal or the next row. It'll be a bigger dot, a bigger dot, a bigger dot, because you can't get all the way around any other ways. Tasha. You know, we're one big happy family in here. You'll see. If you hang around long enough, you'll see. All right, so coming up more for a big dot. Okay. Again, I'm making another dot. Going in, and I'm making another dot. Okay. Basically a triangle. Now, thank you for the wink winks. The overreact. Judy, you know that is my absolute favorite. I need to add that to the goal one. I haven't changed our goals in a while. I should add that. So now, remember what I said, hold your tool straight up and down and go slow. And that will allow more paint to come off your tool. Well, we got the TikToks going too. Thank you. Thank you so much. MJ, when did you say you're going to start going live on Sunday? Or this month? When did I remember? Hi, PK girl. Yay. Thank you for the heart me flex. Thank you for joining the fan club too. Thank you. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. So yeah, holding the tool and going slower. I know that doesn't sound strange, but going slower allows more paint to come off your tool. I mean, if you run out, you can maybe use the smaller end to finish them up, but you risk them being a different size. So see, even I run out of paint, but, ooh, and they're running together. Ooh. So now if I was doing like a big mandala, I would come in and do a brush stroke here. Maybe even in like a metallic. But let's do that again. But let's do some teal colors. Let's see what it looks like with teal. Oh, well, MJ, we'll come and find you. If I am home and I know you're going live, I will definitely come by. Hi, Tia. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, like I said, you'll have, if I can make it, I will be there. If you go on at Sunday at 8 o'clock, I'm probably not going to be there. Just saying. Disappointed that my hand shakes. Is that like a normal thing for you? Because if it is, try to use the bigger tools. Maybe using the bigger tool will settle your hand. You know, I feel like, when you're trying to do something really fine, people shake a little bit more. Try laying your non. There you go. That's another idea. Yeah, so like this. Yeah. No, not on, well, Sunday works as long as it's not at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just a reminder, I won't be there. But you do whatever time works for you. I'm just teasing you. Yeah, so what she's saying is that's a good idea because I know for me that's a really good idea. All right, so let's try this and then we're just going to go with like dark, but I want you guys to see how different it looks with different colors. And I encourage you to fiddle around and do different things. So I'm going to do a dot, and a dot. And then now I'll do my walking dots. Hugging that pattern. I don't count them. You could if you wanted to. Hi, Joe. How are you? I'm glad you didn't click into a box today. Oh, hilarious. That was so funny. I'm like, how did you get in a box? I was clicking away. Oh. Oh no, you're fine. They're all just following you so that they can catch you when you go live. Literally. All right, so I'm just switching to the large end of the blue, just like we did the last one. And I'm coming up a little bit. And then, like I said, I'm going to do that triangle because that really helps me too. Okay, triangle it. That might run together. And then I got to hold this tool up and down. Slowly, so the paint can come off the tool. Oh, fun. That sounds pretty. They're like, it's me time, it's me time. Well, it's funny because my dog literally sleeps all day. Like, and then as I'm getting ready to get off the live, she starts getting wound up. It's funny. It's like she knows. Yes, so Judy, I would try that. This got a little wonky over on this side, but I would try that because I feel for me that makes a big difference. I did not mix these, so I'm not really sure how this is gonna. Oh, I gotta switch sizes. Did I don't think I switched sizes on that last one, but I'm gonna go up to the large end of the green. Okay, so same thing, going up. Triangle-ish. And then I got to remember to hold my tool straight up and down. Okay. Ruby is your therapy dog, so I try to give her. Oh, nice. Yeah, when she's not working, I guess that makes sense. I had a patient pediatric diabetic, and he has a service dog for his low glucoses when his blood sugars go too low. Well, and high, but it was weird because I'm an animal person, but when he was working, see, that got a little wonky on that edge. Should have been in more. My astigmatism. No, you have to touch it. Yeah, you'll have to touch it. Now, I would say though, like there will be a time where you're like, ooh, that's too much paint, and it's going to be too big of a drop. And you might just want to tap it to get some of the paint off. But as a rule, for the paper and the wood, you're going to actually end up having to touch. So let's just do this real quick. So this is the large end of the green. All right. So I got a good amount of paint. Okay. Now I'm actually going to touch it slowly. As I touch it, the paint comes off. Now you have to kind of hold it a little longer, if that makes sense. But I touched every single time. Sometimes I moved faster, sometimes I moved slower. So let's just, for sake of size, do something with the blue because it's a smaller tool, right? But what if you want to get that same distance? You need a lot of paint. So now you're going to do that. And I know you probably can't see because I'm right in the way. But your goal is to get that same distance. I'm touching and holding longer. I'm running out of paint. Okay, so what you can do, and I know this is a lot, so you can do that, and now you can start going a little quicker. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, 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 tap. Okay? So when you're tapping, you're causing a little bit more gravity to pull a little more paint off that tool. Now, you guys are seeing me at a disadvantage because doing it straight and 12 inches from my face is kind of hard. So some of my normal positions I'm not in. So I just, because I'm painting overhead, if I were to paint really where I would normally be, my head would be in your way. So did that help? Sometimes, again, it's going to be muscle memory. It's going to be practice. But sometimes that tap, obviously in the same spot. Here, let's just do this is the large end of the white. So I just want to show you like a tap. So am I in frame? No, not really. Okay. So when you're holding the tool and you touch the first time, okay? And you tap, 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 they're about the same size now. Oh yeah. I would definitely say Yes, because, and honestly, if I were going to practice, I would practice with a larger tool to be able to get a visual of spacing and size consistency, and or in this case, gradient. So did you see what I did here? I'll do it again. So you're going to put your tool down. You did your dot. Now you want another one that same size. You still have paint on there. Tap, tap, tap. Unloads. More paint. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. Okay. Oh, I bet those are fun. Yeah, it is. It really is. And it does become muscle memory. And like, you're like, oh, that's not going to work there. Oh, I don't know if that's going to work. That kind of stuff. So let's see what we can do with this diamond. I'm going to go with walking dots. Let's pull out our rainbow because we haven't done that one. So let's pull out the rainbow. And let me get a drink of water. Does anybody out there have any questions? Thank you for the follow, Catherine. Hello, Rebel Chick. No questions? Okay. All right. So this is something I've never done. I have never done a diamond. I mean, a triangle. So let's start small. All right. I'm going to use the large end of the pink. And am I in frame? Where are we at? Over there. Okay, good. So I'm just gonna fiddle with this. So let's do some walking dots. And let me start by doing it like this. Now I would say, can I do a brush stroke? Do you mind if I do a brush stroke on this one, guys? Yeah, so for this case, like I'm in the paint. Because I want it to come off. The only thing you got to remember is if you're swirling it around on the bottom, you're not going to get the right amount of paint. You want to swirl in the paint. Now I got a lot of paint on there, so hang on a minute. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this side. Okay. I want to do something. Let me get my water, my glass for the water. Hang on. Because I'm thinking a brush stroke starting underneath that might look cool. So what I mean by that is let's get the ones that are a little more, let me see. No, that's too, there it is. Okay, again, this is a little more advanced, but actually it is advanced, but I want to try something. Oh, and it's that orange color. Ugh. All right. So when you do a brush stroke, you need a good amount of paint too. And I'm going to apologize in advance because I do have to, in order for me to do this at least somewhat like I think, I'm going to have to turn the book. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to push down and come around and come up. Okay, what do I have on the end of my paintbrush? Nothing. All right, so in this case, I couldn't get around as far as I want, so I'll do another row of walking dots. And I think this would look kind of cool. All right. Hang on a minute. Ah! Ah! Wet paint, wet paint. All right. Am I in frame a little bit? Okay, good. And then I'm gonna, again, start up here or down here because that's really the bottom. And then, okay, so let's fix that because that one, all right. So we'll come up. Make that a little bit fatter. There we go. Okay. And then, I'm going to have to use yellow because I screwed that up. All right, let's just use the large end. And I'll just do the same thing we've been doing, our little triangle. I think that helps. Okay. Now, in this case, I would do walking dots around that craziness. So when my brush strokes do not look right, I will do walking dots on purpose, okay, to hide that. See how that literally makes my mistakes. Oh, hang on, let's do this. Dot. It was a little off-centered. Hang on. But you see how it kind of hides, maybe not as much in this particular one. And you know what? Because I don't like that big center thing of the orange, I'm going to do that. And just cover that up. Maybe I need to switch to painting, much easier. I would never be able to match that. You will. You will find your flow. You will find your flow. Okay, so all that being said, so to me, starting down here and coming up is tough. Going down is much easier. And I'll show you. Now, this will look totally different without white in the middle of it. Right now it looks really weird. All right, so with the brush strokes, when you start up here, okay, and I'm going to try and keep you in frame. Okay, it's the same thing. You're going to push down and then follow your pattern and then come around as you pick up your brush. But yeah, I agree. There's a lot of little tips and tricks for when you're paint, and there's so much going on in in a mandala that most of the time, if there's a mistake, nobody is going to notice it. Same thing coming around, lifting up for that. Again, I don't know what that would look like with the mirror. I have to go look and see. Can I break one of these mirrors without cutting my... Thank you for the follow, Jade. Can I break one without it? I wish I had my... I don't want to cut my finger on live. All right, let me hold this up because I feel like there's a little bit of a glare down there. So yeah, so what I'm saying is when that white is erased, I think, and there's a mirror in there, I think that would be a really cool design. Something different. Yeah, no, we don't. As much as I would like to try it, I think I will not. And then, I mean, just to finish the whole rainbow, let's just do walking dots with the purple. So you guys get an idea what that looks like. Even though we know this, and this is the large end of the green. So I'm actually going to have to tap, 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 tap. Nope, no more. Okay, P-Cakes, thank you for being here. Appreciate you. So, walking, tap, tap, tap. Oh, tap, tap. And then I'm going to see if I can finish that up with this one. So I'm really not pushing down here. I'm just walking them around so I can finish that up. But yeah, I think that would be a cool design. Maybe not necessarily in these colors. You know, that rainbow was the first time I'd ever done rainbow, but I think I will see if I can find the, could have swore I had diamonds, but I don't know. All right, let's see. What time do we have? All right, let me look and see what we have. Was there somebody... Did somebody else want to see a pattern before? Let me see if I can look at my stuff here again for one we haven't done. I mean, these are mainstays. So let's do these. So this one is without any walking dots. This is with a row of walking dots and the swoosh around it. And each of them have a swoosh in between. So let's do those real quick. Okay. And like I said, this will all be uploaded. And I never did use that metallic. You're welcome, Lisa. You're welcome. And anybody that you're welcome to message me and ask anytime. I try to be responsive. I try to. I seem to be missing messages from time to time. I don't know if they just. I don't mean to. So if you do message me. Or if you've asked me a question and I don't answer it, just ask again. I can't say why they get missed because I don't do that on purpose at all. Okay. So in this case, we'll do the same thing. we're going to use, let's use this color because I really like these colors. So let's do our center dot. I'm going to do a couple. Where are we at? Okay. I'm going to do 2 different sizes. So a good amount of paint. Okay, because we want a nice domed. And again, if you're going in and you're hitting the bottom, you're not going to get the right amount of paint. And then we'll, same thing, but we're going to do bigger dots. Okay. So, and like I said, this one is one that we use towards the center. So you know how when we're doing our paintings, and here I kind of go, let's see, do I have a 6 here? This is a good one. We'll show this one. So you know how we do this, and then we do a pattern, and then we do a pattern. Okay. Some of that I do, Matt Marion, gosh, I do not know what brand this is. It is, if it's not, it should be in the list I send out for beginners. These are from what I use now, but I cannot say the name. It's somebody that can you see that? That's that brand. Gosh, I can't remember. Does anybody know what paintbrush that is? I honestly can't remember. I feel like it's on my list. My supply list. If you did I send you the supply list? Or I mean the shopping list? I don't remember. If you asked for it and I forgot to send it to you, I apologize. If it's not on there, let me know. But I do that for the sake of the live. Like, you don't have to do it where you make these big dots and then you go into a big pattern. Okay? You can do a couple rows, do a row of these, a row of these, and then build out and then finish up with a bigger design. There's nothing I do is how it has to be done. Masters. I don't know. Okay, so did I miss sending you the list, Matt Marianne? Let me write your name down real quick so that. Okay. If it's not on there, let me know. So MJ, did you ask for it? Okay, so let me hang on a minute. If you can, if I forgot to send it to you, please shoot me a message in the live where that little orange box is with the white arrow. And that will be the first thing I do when I get off live. I will send that. Good night. Good night, Sandra. How did I not even know you were here? If you send me that, it'll ask you for your email address. I do not need that. But shoot me a message there that you are looking for the beginner's supply list. And then I will look at the supply list before I send it and make sure they're on there. Okay, I just have to double check that it's on there now that you guys are asking, because it is a beginner supply list and that's not normally a beginner skill. But if you're interested, I absolutely have no problem adding that on there. Okay, so back to what we were doing. So in this case, I think the large end of the white will be good. Okay, so we're going to do, and this is a simple pattern. It's going to be a dot and then your swoosh. Okay, same thing over here. So you would do that without touching, because otherwise it'll all blend together. Okay, and then you would do a swoosh in between your next one. So on each side is going to be a swoosh. So let's just do that so that you remember. And I say swoosh, but I mean, it's a swoosh, but it's a straight swoosh. Okay? So you're going to keep it in line. Meaning everything's going to line up from here to here. Oh, that one went a little high. That astigmatism, man, that, I'm telling you, if you guys don't have one, it's annoying. When you think you have your depth perception, and then next thing you know, you're like, oh, nope, just kidding. It's annoying. How I can shoot straight with one eye, with both my eyes open, I have no idea. But, all right. So I don't know why I did two, because we really only needed one, but let's just do it in reverse colors. So same thing, large end of the white tool. Swoosh around. Large end of the white tool. Swoosh around. Well, kind of. Is there... Nope. Okay. I'm running out of room on my paper towel. And then just for contrast, we'll use the tiger lily. Oh. And then we'll do a straight swoosh. Down. Trying to keep everything the same size is basically the pattern. So what you would do in this particular, when you're doing that design, what you're going to do is, where did it go? Okay, when you're doing that design, you got to keep in mind that you're getting to a certain point where you're doing a dot basically all the way around, and then in that little bit of space in between, you're doing your swoosh. So let's measure the middle of that real quick. Let's see, this is, I'm just curious. So from one end to the other, it is, let's include that. Okay, so from this dot, trying to get in there, to the other side, that's 6 inches. So you could actually make this on a 6-inch round, if that makes sense. Yes. Or pushing it. You're going to kind of push the paint around. And then this is the slightly larger one, right? Where you're doing, which is something we've done before, where you're doing, didn't I do that? Yep, can't do that. Where you're going to do a row of walking dots. This is the large end of the yellow. Let me get back in frame. So you're just going to walk around. Walk around. Okay. And then on each side, it's going to have a swoosh. And, right, is this the one that just has the center? Yeah. So it's a center dot. So we'll pick this color. But it's, for me, I think one of the main things that intrigues me is how you can do the same pattern in a different color palette and it'll look totally different. So then this is one where you do a big, I say big, but a swoosh. Yeah, okay, now there's another pattern on the back of that. And so I'm hitting the dots from the pattern on the other side. Hi, Jessica. I am. I've been trying to post everything that we do in full. I got a little sidetracked with what I was supposed to do last night, is all I'm going to say. But yes. Oh, what are we doing tomorrow? We had a vote, Jessica, for a light gray background on the round with black and gray design. That would be tomorrow. Does anybody have any objections of working on that? So our friend Judy can make her project for her friend. I don't have any objections. It'll be another first for me because I've never painted a black and gray mandala. It'll be a light gray. Yeah, 6-inch. Yep. Is that? Yep. So tomorrow night, that's our plan. Thank you for sharing the live, MJ. Am I right on that, Judy? That's the plan. You wanted a light gray background with a black and no objections. Okay, awesome. Because then we can get Judy's friends, whatever she's trying to make. We can get that taken care of. And it'll be fun because it'll be a new... I got eraser. How did you get there? I'm not touching it. And then this would be the same thing. You're going to end up having a space in between. So you would do your swooshes like so. Awesome. Awesome. All right, great, Joe. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yep. All right. So then so everybody should come if you can, if you're going to paint with a 6-inch round or whatever you're going to paint on. You don't have to do exactly the same thing. 6-inch round with a light gray or whatever color you have background. Oh, that didn't come out the way I wanted it to. Keeping in mind, you probably are not going to see my guide marks, right? Because they're going to be very light. That did not come out the way I wanted it to. But I think you get the idea. Okay? But keeping in mind that this is in a round pattern. Okay, Jessica, have a great night. We will see you tomorrow. 10, 11, 12. I should be home by 6. I'm trying to remember. Good night, Rhonda. Thank you for being here. All right, so that's our plan for tomorrow. I will upload this. Actually, I'm going to try and upload it tonight because I will have a long day and I won't have signal at all where I'm at. The patient I have tomorrow does not have Wi-Fi or signal at their house. So we will all be here tomorrow and we'll work on, as a matter of fact, I should probably paint that now. I gotta paint that now. I'm gonna pick a light gray and paint it now because I won't have time to paint it tomorrow. Otherwise, if I do, then I don't know that that's light enough. Judy, Judy, Judy. I think I might use that. All right, PK girl, I will see you tomorrow. Good night, Lisa. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys. I'm just going to paint this round so that it's done. No worries. You're welcome. That's what we're all here for. This is a community of helpful people. Judy, no, you're fine. This should be fine. Morning mist. There's that purple. No, it's gray. Right? Kind of looks purple. We're going to say it's gray. Oh, no, you're fine. Well, I mean, if you want to paint with us, I mean, I have been posting everything unedited. It does kind of look purple. Oh, well. Oh, well. That's what we're getting tomorrow. But I have been posting the whole thing unedited. If you need help, Joe, Joe, getting to that, you just have to message me and I can help you out getting to that. It's called Morning Mist. I don't know why Morning Mist would be lilac, but okay. I don't know if that's light enough. We're going to go with it. Yeah, you're welcome. Add white. Yeah, no, that's the solution for everything. Too late. I didn't mix the custom palette. I might go over it with a little bit of white, but I want to see what it dries like. I mean, it's a real light coat, so it may dry. It may dry. No, that looks lilac to me. Definitely. Yep. Looks purple to me. Yeah, I feel like maybe when it dries, it'll be okay. Because it's pretty light. And I'm going to be using blacks and grays on it. So that might actually be kind of a cool contrast. I know, at least I know I'll be able to see my lines on it. Yes, no worries. Yeah, so there's a few up there. I have to get the rainbow one up, and then the picture page or the practice page from today. So, yeah, just know they're unedited, so you can fast forward through whatever you don't want to listen to. Because, you know, we do have conversations on the sidelines here. So I know I have a black. Okay, so we have a black. And then we'll use that. Judy, do you have colors picked out? Are you still here, Judy? I don't even know if you're still here, Judy. I think I'm gonna have to go with, I might go with these and mix. Thank you. I mean, the videos in full, the full are not here. I have to send you, because they would never, it would take forever. No, tonight, Lisa, so for Thursday, for tomorrow, it's supposed to be a light gray background. Mine is not, but tomorrow it's supposed to be. And then what we're doing is a black and gray pattern. But I think it'll be fine on the lilac. It's supposed to be a light gray. We're going to do that so that Judy can do her project. Yeah. Or her gift for her friend. So, yeah. Yes, and that's why some people, they actually plan on painting with me, so that we're kind of like in real time. And usually there's enough time like in between to like pause and catch up, but then it's live if they want to go back and do something with it. So yeah, so I think this is what I'm going to do pretty much. That doesn't mean you guys, or should we mix a custom palette with the black and adding different amounts of white to get our grays, Judy? Would you rather do that? You want to try okay. Do you have black, CC, though? So I think what we're going to do tomorrow is you can paint the base something light. So if you have morning mist, you'll be right along with me. And then we'll do an ombre with the black. So we'll custom make a palette. I think that will work pretty good. And I think it'll look good on that, whatever that is, that morning mist. Oh, so you did it. Okay. There you go. We're all set then. All right, guys. So it sounds like we have a plan. We will adjourn here tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern. Or no, we will adjourn for now and return tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern. All right, yes. We're looking forward to it, Judy. We will see you all tomorrow. Sleep well, everybody. Have a great day.